Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Before we get into the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. A lot of people watch, not a lot of people subscribe, so consider doing that if you find this useful. Let's go ahead and get into it. To get things started this week, we have the continuation of the $1 million bonus for logging into GTA Online that's been going on for a couple of weeks now. So if you haven't had a chance to log into GTA in the last 2 weeks, this week you can still get a free $1 million for logging in. So if you haven't logged in for some reason, you should definitely be doing that and get your free $1 million. The Cayo Perico survival mode that was added last week is still on double money and double RP this week, so I would recommend trying that out. And in fact, if you do complete it and reach wave 10, you will get a bonus $100,000 for the weekly challenge, which is a continuation of last week's weekly challenge. We also have Assault on Cayo Perico on double money and double RP, and we also have Hot Ring circuit races on double money and double RP for the remainder of this week as well. Now, probably the best money bonus of the entire week is double money and double RP on payphone hits. So they're going to be paying $90,000 and they're available to do after a 10-minute cooldown now. So $90,000 every maybe 15 minutes. Not terrible, but still not the greatest bonus of all time, that's for sure. For discounts this week, things are a little bit weak. We have the Lampadati Viserys starting us off on Legendary Motorsport for 30% off. The Viserys is a pretty cool car with some really good customization options, and it's also recently had the missile lock-on jammer added as an available upgrade for it as well, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately though, this thing does have engine resistance, meaning that it shifts gears slower and overall accelerates slower and has a worse top speed. It's been mildly fixed, but you will still notice it, and it is still frustrating to deal with. It's a very cool car to have in a garage, just kind of sitting and chilling, but to actually drive it is a little bit taxing on you mentally because it's just not what it should be, which is a huge shame because honestly it is a really cool car. It also sounds incredible and the customization is really good. So if it's interesting to you for $612,500, then I would say to purchase it, but just be aware that it's probably not going to be the best driving experience of your life. Moving a little bit further down under the two-door section, we have the Annis RE7B on discount this week. Now honestly, I love this car and I have some very fond memories of it because it was added to the game with the Cunning Stunts update, which is one of my favorite updates of all time. Unfortunately, it's not that great of a car anymore in GTA Online, and especially for supercar class like racing, it's really not that exceptional. Customization wise, it's also not exceptional in any way at all. It has 3 livery options, being the Estancia livery and the Pegasus livery, and then having no livery on the car. It does have some spoiler options, but beyond that, there's pretty much nothing that can be done to the vehicle. I feel like for $1,732,500, it is a lot of money to ask for this vehicle. Now, if it was more like 50% off, I'd say, around 1.2 mil, not a terrible price point, but this thing is just not really that great when it comes to racing and performance and everything like that. And if you're in the market for a race car, I would get an Annis S80RR or a Benefactor LM87 because either of those vehicles will walk circles around the RE7B, unfortunately. Cool car, but overall I'd say it's probably not worth purchasing. Under the 4-door section on Legendary, we also have the Coil Raiden discounted this week by 30% off. Overall, this car is not really worth this amount of money. It's a full EV in GTA Online, which means that unfortunately the handling is going to be terrible like pretty much every other EV in this entire game. The handling balance is really weird. It kind of wants to oversteer while also understeering. It's just really odd feeling. It feels extremely heavy. The customization is not that great on it. There is some stuff that can be done, which is cool, but overall it's going to leave a lot to be desired for $962,500. They have added the missile lock-on jammer to it, but that does not add any degree of armor whatsoever, so it's still going to die in one explosive. Overall, I'd say this thing is probably not going to be worth it unless you explicitly just really want a Coil Raiden. And last but not least, on Legendary Motorsport, we have the Rampant Rocket, and it is actually least because this thing is abysmal. $650,000 almost is a lot of money to be asking for the Rampant Rocket. I just don't think it's worth it. I've honestly never driven it, but From everything I've ever heard about the Rampant Rocket, it is a miserable vehicle to drive. It's a trike, which if that didn't tell you it's going to be bad, I don't know what to tell you. I would just avoid it. I think it's really overpriced for what you're getting. Over on Warstock, we have the Rune Zaba discounted this week by 30% off, and this is just a vehicle that you should never buy ever. It does have some cool and unique features, I will give it that. The turning circle is extremely small, but because of the very short wheelbase, this thing will also be pretty much incapable of going around any degree of a corner at anything over 10 miles per hour. It's just going to spin out simply, which is very frustrating. It can, however, go in the water or drive on land, obviously, which is pretty cool. It is amphibious, which is pretty rare in GTA Online, and it can also take 14 homing missiles or 14 RPGs, making it actually one of the more strong vehicles in the game when it comes to RPG resistance, but the homing missile resistance is below average, I would say, for a vehicle that's this armored. It does have some customization, which is cool, but overall for almost $1.7 million or almost $1.3 million, I feel like it is way too much money, and I would absolutely avoid the Zaba. It is a very disappointing vehicle, and I promise you probably will not like it. Over on Southern, we have the Dinka Blista Kanjo for sale, which is a pretty cool car actually, and this thing has a lot of customization options. Now, it's front wheel drive, which means it's going to be pretty miserable to drive in GTA Online, but even as somebody who generally hates front wheel drive cars in GTA, this thing is actually pretty cool. For only $406,000, I feel like even if you don't have the trade price, it's kind of worth it for a nice car to customize. Now, again, the driving experience is not going to be great, but to customize this thing and just have it, I feel like it's worth it for $406,000, and if you have the trade price, it's pretty certainly worth it if old Civics like this interest you in the first place. Now, if they don't, you can completely avoid this thing. You don't need it by any means. It's nothing formidable in the compacts category. There's nothing really special about it other than the customization. So if you want a nice car to customize, this is going to do that for you, but I would only really recommend it if you like old Civics like this, for example. Under the four-door section on Southern, we have the Ubermacht Reinhardt discounted and the Karen Sultan Classic. The Ubermacht Reinhardt is a pretty customizable BMW-inspired station wagon that is honestly a pretty fun car to drive in GTA Online. It's all-wheel drive, the customization is pretty good, you can make it look really sleek, really clean, and everything like that, but overall, the performance is probably going to disappoint you, and for $1.1 million, I would say it is pretty certainly going to disappoint you. Now, it's a cool car to customize, it's a cool car to drive, but don't expect to win any races or anything like that. Certainly, it is a vehicle for free mode and pretty much nothing more. And with that said, if it interests you, now is going to be a good time to buy it. I can't see it really going lower than this price before GTA 6 comes out, so if you want to own one, you might as well get it now while it's 30% off. But for the vast majority of you, I would say you can pretty much avoid this thing entirely. Now, the Karen Sultan Classic is a little bit different. It is a little bit cheaper than the Reinhardt if you have the trade price, but if you don't, it's a little bit more expensive. This thing is also a four-door all-wheel drive car in GTA, but this thing, customization-wise, has a little bit more to offer than the Reinhardt generally, I would say. And I would say this thing is faster and the driving experience is just a little bit better. So if you have the trade price for this thing, I would say certainly purchase it if it interests you. If you don't have the trade price, 1.2 is a little much in my opinion, but if you were deciding between this and the Reinhardt, I would certainly pay the extra $80,000 to get the Karen Sultan Classic. I just think it's a much better vehicle generally. Make your choice if you want either of them. If you like JDM cars more, I would definitely say go for the Karen Sultan Classic, but if you like German cars more, I would say to go for the Ubermacht Reinhardt. But honestly, either of them on this discount is probably going to be the best discount that we're going to get, again, before GTA 6 comes out. So if either of them interest you, or if both of them interest you, even slightly, I would say now is going to be the time to pull the trigger on either of them. Within the casino, we have the Panade Le Carousse up for grabs for free this week, and you should absolutely win this thing. If you can, come to the casino every single day and try to get it. It is a fantastic car, and if you have HSW on your platform, it's one of the best sports cars in the entire game to race with, so I would certainly come here and try to win it every single day. And within the LS car meet, we have the Enos Paragon R available to be won, and in order to win it, you're going to have to place top 2 for 3 days in a row, which is a fairly easy challenge, and this is a fantastic car. you should absolutely try to win it. It is just great. Customization wise, it's great. Performance wise, it's great. Overall, it's awesome. Now, as far as the vehicles that are available in the car meet this week, we have the Benefactor XLS, which I think is actually a very cool SUV. It goes for $253,000. I would say if you have never had this thing, you should purchase it because it's only 250 grand, and really, it's pretty fun. Now, unfortunately, nothing in the way of customization though, so keep that in mind before you decide to purchase it. Yeah, there's literally nothing you can do to it. There's also the Benefactor Strider here, which goes for $500,000 even. This thing has a little bit of customization, not an insane amount. Overall, I would say that it's a little bit worse than the XLS generally, and the largest reason for that is because these fenders are not paintable. They will always be this weird sort of plastic black color, which I think kind of ruins the whole vibe of the car. If this thing had a little bit more customization, I would certainly say that it is a fantastic vehicle and that you should purchase it, but the customization is a little lackluster and the performance isn't that great, so I'd say avoid that. But the Albany Alpha for $150,000, to me, in my opinion, is one of the best vehicles in any of the dealerships this week. This thing is fantastic. It's got some customization. It's all-wheel drive. It's fun to drive. For $150K, I just simply don't think you can really go wrong with this vehicle. We also have the Benefactor Sterling GT available as the HSW test ride within the car meet here, available for $2,209,000. This thing sounds absolutely incredible. It's the second fastest sports classic car in the game with HSW. Overall, I'd say if you want one, now is not a bad time to purchase it for sure. And this customization that you're going to get with it is pretty clean, so consider that if you're interested. These are the vehicles available within the salvage yard this week. The Ubermacht Sentinel Classic is available by completing the Duggan Robbery. The Hijack Rustin is available by completing the Podium Robbery, and the Omaggio is available by completing the Gangbanger Robbery. But of course, none of them are claimable. Shockingly, yet again. Within the Garment Factory, the Project Breakaway file is the priority file for the week, so it's paying double, so do that if you're interested. Within Simeon's, we got a few removed vehicles, starting off with the LCC Hexer here. It is going to be going for $39,500 this week. I think that's well worth it if you're even remotely interested in it. We also have the Western Cliffhanger available for $272,000. Pretty cool looking bike. I actually really like this one a lot. If you're interested in it, I mean, it's definitely a cool bike, so I'd recommend it. We have the Benefactor Serrano, which is a removed vehicle available in here as well, with stock black wheels, which is kind of cool, going for $143,000 this week. And we also have the LCC Avarice for $135,000. And of course the Weenie Dynasty, which is really overpriced, $477,000, which is kind of crazy. So I'd avoid the Weenie Dynasty. I think it's pretty pathetic anyways. The Serrano is definitely a pickup in my opinion. It's a really cool car. A little bit of customization as well. With the convertible down, it also looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And honestly, any of the bikes, if they interest you, I'd just say to purchase them because they're relatively cheap. But if you don't care about bikes, then just avoid them. At Luxury Autos, we got the Annis 300R, the Ubermacht Sentinel GTS. Nothing too special going on here, I'm afraid. So that's a shocker. Alright guys, and the gun van location today is at the Los Santos docks near the HSW time trial. It's only going to be here for today, the day this video is going out, so if you're watching this later in the week, it will not be here. However, the Unholy Hellbringer, the military rifle, battle rifle, minigun, carbine rifle, and pool cue will all be available in here still. The Unholy Hellbringer is a fantastic weapon. You should absolutely be purchasing that if you don't have it already. The battle rifle is also going to be 30% off this week, so if you're interested in it, it is cheaper. Minigun's good, carbine rifle is good to have, military rifle, a little overpriced. Battle rifle's also overpriced. I wouldn't buy it even on discount. But the Unholy Hellbringer, definitely a good weapon to have. I would make sure to have that. For throwables, we have Molotovs, tear gas, and pipe bombs, and of course body armor is 10% off. For your time trials this week, your RC Bandito time trial for today is Cypress Flats. Your Junk Energy is of course Mirror Park. Your regular time trial is all the way up here by the restaurant from Fast and Furious called Raton Canyon, and of course your HSW time trial is at the docks, and it is going up to the left hand side of the map right around where this one actually starts, which is pretty cool. In fact, it's actually just past it, going up here at the sort of entrance to the canyon right about here. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you're new. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.